What is going on, everybody? We are back with another episode of Only Haters. Dion is not in the building today, and we have a very special guest to replace him. One of the greatest Twitter handles in the history of the game, none other than Jim Root, aka at Second Chance Points. How are we living, Jim? How are we living?
Well, I'm good. You're twisting my arm to come on here and be a hater. I feel like I'm always sitting on the fence with my takes in college basketball, trying not to get on anyone's bad side. But here, I got to bring a heat a little bit. So hopefully I will live up to the show's reputation and deliver on that. But it's good. You're getting me on mic in the off season of college hoops. We'll see if I can remember what this is like, how to do this.
See, that's the beauty of it. I was like, you know what? Both of our squads just got blistered by an 8 seed. We're down bad. It's terrible. Your mind is clear. We're not talking, mid-major hoops right now. So it's like, what other time to bring the man on than now? So P, you, my co-host, how are you? How's life? You were talking about your bowling game before we started today.
Yeah,
so
man. I told my guys, my bowling day was not great. It was not good at all. My day was great. Bowling wasn't great. Sports haven't been that great. The Lakers, y'all got bounced. We got bounced. We got sweat.
Yeah.
So a lot going on right now. So, but this episode is gonna be great. Nice to meet Jim. Cool guy already. Ready to get it done.
Pierre, at least your Lakers weren't like a minus 700 favorite to win the series. So Jacob and I have to deal with that.
That's true.
Yeah, that's facts. Like at least you got beat by a team that was just better than you,
Absolutely.
At least you can take a little bit with that. But all right, before we get into my beloved Celtics and Jim's beloved Bucks, we'll talk a little Heat Nuggets because I don't know. To be honest, don't think it's a great finals. And I think if you're talking about how excited you are for this finals, you're just trying really hard to sound different and be like, I love basketball. Because I think the Nuggets are absolutely gonna, I don't know, man, at this point. You know what? I'm just gonna bite my tongue on the Heat takes. I want to say the Nuggets are gonna steamroll them, but then Caleb Martin is just gonna turn into Jesus again. So, Jim, what are you expecting?
Yeah, I think if you had told me these two were playing before the playoffs, I would have thought the same thing as you. But the Heat have proven for 20 games now that they are not the same team that they were during the regular season. They're healthier. They figured out that the ball should go in the basket from beyond the 3-point line. They were horrific at shooting from deep all season, and now they're the number one 3-point shooting team in the playoffs. So yeah, I think with Spoelstra on the sideline, the toughness, the attitude they have, they're going to be feisty. I don't think this is going to be like a sweep of 4 blowouts by any means. I still think the Nuggets win, but I think it's going to be a little bit more entertaining. And I just love watching the Nuggets play basketball. So I'm excited about it from that. I'll be the basketball purist, Jake, that says I'm excited to watch this. But we'll see if the Heat are able to extend it and make this a longer series or not.
Yeah. P, how are you feeling?
Feeling good. I'm feeling good. I'm not a basketball purist like my man Jim. Not excited for it at all. But I mean, we're here though. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, if you were to ask me a while back if this was going to be a finals, I would have told you to get out of my way. I wouldn't have believed you. But we're here. I feel like the Nuggets will win. But seeing the Heat, I've doubted them the whole playoffs against the Bucks, Celtics. Maybe it might go 6. That's just how I'm feeling. And I feel like it might be a little entertaining. If Caleb Martin is the same Caleb Martin. If they come out and come out flat and it's just Jimmy and Bam, yeah, they're getting swept. So I'm excited a little bit.
No, I mean, yeah, I am too. And, I'm really just excited to see Jokic hopefully win a ring because, this is the first time his team's really been healthy. It's like, I've never understand the Jokic playoff hate narratives. They've never made sense to me. The dude's always been insane. But I will say it's kind of a battle of like the Heat feel like this team of destiny, and the Nuggets are not going to lose if Jamal Murray's going to score 32 in a series on like 53% shooting. So it's like, I mean, I just think the Nuggets have that mixture like obviously the Heat run into the Bucks in the first round. Do they win that series if Giannis doesn't go down? Probably not. And then it's like they run into the Celtics. Celtics are more talented, but we've known about the inconsistencies of this team forever. So not really surprising. Now you get the Nuggets, who's like the mixture of you're not going to get them off theirs. They're going to do their thing. And I think Jokic is going to have Bam in a torture chamber as well, which is not a good look for Miami. So I don't know. I mean, I do think it comes down to, is Caleb Martin going to be this guy again? Because here's the thing, Jim. At least y'all got beat by Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler and
true.
Gabe Vincent. Gabe Vincent outplayed Drew Holiday for a full series. So it wasn't really the Caleb Martin series yet, but like Kevin Love was great in that series because he was able to play because the Bucks are playing two bigs. So I think he'll probably play a little bit in this one too, just because maybe you try him on Jokic so you can have Bam fly around. But yeah, there's a lot of little intricacies and stuff with the matchup, but it does come down to that I think Jokic is the best player on the floor. I don't know if Butler has the same gas. It did seem like he was running out a little bit towards the end of that Celtics series and got picked up by his teammates. And he had a couple streaks, like end of the second quarter, he had a little personal 5-0 run. And then late in the game, he had a couple big ones, but it wasn't the same kind of like 40-point performances that he was putting up early in the playoffs. And the Nuggets just have so many weapons. So they feel like even if they're not going to run away right away, that's a team that can wear you down over the course of the series. And they have the altitude advantage and they're undefeated at home so far in the playoffs. So that's another little thing just on their side here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean,
nuts. They're a great team. It's just simple as that. The Nuggets are just a great team. And I'm a Nuggets hater, I'm a Nuggets hater. I truly, when we were coming in the series playing the Lakers, I was like, okay, everyone talks about how deep they are. Cool. Bruce Brown showed up. KCP showed up. Aaron Gordon kind of showed up in moments. Just they have too many pieces that can just show up at the right time. And Jimmy, I worry about him sometimes because his floor, like he's a great player, but his floor is really bad. The 5 for 21 shooting game was really bad. But I don't know. He can't do that. You just can't do that against the Nuggets at all. So
yeah,
it's gonna be interesting.
The biggest thing to me, and I mean, I don't know how y'all feel about this because they've been without him all playoffs, but how does Hero coming back in, what do they say, game 3 impact things for y'all? Because I mean, dude hasn't played all playoffs. They're in the finals. And obviously Tyler Hero would add a lot, but he'd also take away. I mean, if Tyler Hero comes back, that's taking shots from other guys. So does Hero help or hinder the Heat?
I'm half and half.
Yeah. Go ahead, Pierre.
I'll say I'm half and half because if Hero comes back, I don't want to see him take Caleb Martin's run or anything like that. If he does come back, I feel like he should come off the second unit. But the other half for me is, history speaking, Tyler Hero really plays great against the Nuggets. I'm not gonna lie. So he does add that boost. And no, what was he targeting? Game 3? At that point, you just hope it's not too late. You know what I'm saying? To start doing stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm half and half. Jim, I'm ready to hear you go.
I'm concerned about Hero coming back because I do think it's going to upset the apple cart a little bit in terms of the shot selection for everybody and the way that distributes down. Like in the last 3 games he played in, Vincent and Martin took like 5 combined, 6 combined, and 4 combined shots. Like they were just not relevant pieces in the 2 playing games and then the first Bucks game. So does him coming back kind of force those guys to think twice about what they should be shooting, or does he take all minutes from Duncan Robinson? Like I don't know how that works out. The nice part is you have Spoelstra figuring it out. This isn't somebody that's not gonna know what to do and isn't gonna be able to manage egos. Like everybody buys in with what he wants. So I think that should be okay. And then from just like an intricate matchup perspective, like Hero's a great pull-up shooter, and against Jokic, who's probably playing drop in every pick and roll, you bring in a guy who can actually shoot off the dribble. That's not really what Caleb Martin wants to do. Vincent can, but I guess from a matchup sense, it would work. Like Pierre said, though, I'm worried they're down 2-0 after going to Denver in altitude with the rest disadvantage. And it's just that altitude is so tough to play in. Like I said, Denver has not lost at home yet.
Yeah, I just don't. like, I just don't know how to feel because Hero coming back would, in a way, benefit Martin because he wouldn't have to be a creator at all. He could just go back to being a spot up shooter. However, he's thriving in that role so much right now. It's like, do you really want to take him out of it? And then the other part of things is, I know it's been said, and it honestly did kind of happen a little bit against the Knicks. They were just better than the Knicks, so they could win. But like, if they're not making an ungodly amount of 3-pointers, like, this series is not going to see a close game. And if you look at how it's been, it's like they hit everything against the Bucks. I want to say they shot what, like 32% against the Knicks, and then hit everything against the Celtics. I'm like, I'm not going to lie. I could see some serious negative regression coming here, and the Nuggets kind of, I don't think there's any doubt the Nuggets will be up 2-0. And then it's like, if you get down 3-1 to Denver, there's no comeback because Jokic is just not going to let that happen. So, I mean, I hope it's competitive for the sake of me watching it. But at the same time, I'm not going to lie. I hate this Miami team. I'm so sick of them. I would love to see the Nuggets absolutely obliterate them, but
it's a theme of the show, man. You got that right. It's a theme of the show. You hate them. It's the theme of the show.
Bro,
That's what
listen,
we do.
it's just, I mean, we'll use this like to transition, I think, into the Celtics because the Celtics had a lot of issues in that series. But I just literally cannot stop thinking about Caleb Martin averaging 20 points on 60 and 49 splits. Like, how does that happen? I'll give it to the Heat. He got a lot of open looks. But it's like once he hit one open look, he was hitting contested turnaround middies. He was hitting like sidestep. Well, let's just put it this way. You're not winning when Caleb Martin's better than Jaylen Brown in a series.
No.
So,
No.
I don't know. Like, do you guys think that Caleb Martin will keep this up in the finals? Like, will he?
It all depends.
I'm like in a bomb shelter. I'm afraid of the Heat because they've made me figure out or question my belief in shooting regression because it's not happening. Like, it's ridiculous. The stat I heard on the Low Post today, I think you'll like this one, Jacob. How many times did the Heat make 50 or more percent of their threes against the Celtics in 7 games?
I want to say 3.
They did it 3 times. Do you know how many times they did it in 82 games in the regular season?
Probably 1.
3. Like 3 out of 82 and then 3 out of 7. Like, it's so ridiculous. They made shots. They did it twice against the Bucks. I don't understand where it's coming from. Some of its good shooters are actually making shots if they missed all year, but I don't know what to do with them. They've like become this totally anomalous force in the playoffs that does not correlate at all to what they were during the regular season. And that makes me throw my hands up and say, I don't know. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of it is this is truthfully we have no clue because we've seen what the Heat were for 82 games, but apparently it's like the 12 win sample size is just going to show us. I mean, I've just never seen a team like there are teams that will get hotter in the playoffs, but like this is just a different level of shooting spike that I have ever seen in my life. And this, I was explaining this to my friend who I was watching Game 7 with, and I said, I don't mind the open shots. If you leave someone wide open, I expect them to hit it, especially when it's Martin, especially when it's Strus or Duncan. Like, those guys can all shoot. That's cool. What is so aggravating about the Heat is every single time you are making a run, they will not hit a wide open one. They hit the craziest shot you've ever seen in your life. And that's what makes it like, what do you do? Like, for example, in Game 7, as soon as the Celtics got it to like 66-61, I think it was, you literally got wild Caleb Martin turnaround to put him back up 7. And the Celtics missed. Then you got another Caleb Martin bucket. And I'm like, dude, if Caleb Martin's going to go on 7-0, like difficult shot making runs, then you just got to live with it. Like, I don't know. I mean, that is my concern, though. Jimmy brought it up earlier. Is Jimmy just looked gassed. He looked dead.
He's going to be guarded by Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon's like the best possible matchup for him. This huge athletic freak that can move side to side. Like, good luck posting him up and shooting over him on mid-rangers. I guess they'll seek out switches, but man, I don't envy that matchup.
No, and it's like, and Aaron Gordon is out there to literally defend you. He doesn't care if he scores. Like, he's literally out there to make your life hell. Like, he's going to score because he's really talented, but he's perfectly fine with sitting back and letting Jokic, KCP, Michael Porter Jr., Jamal be the scorers. He is literally going to be solely focused on making Jimmy's life hell. And this is the worst matchup that the Heat have seen, hands down. I mean, a healthy Bucks probably would have been just as bad of a matchup, but unfortunately, we did not get a healthy Bucks.
I don't even know. Drew Holiday forgot how to play basketball, honestly, during that whole series. I don't know what happened.
He does it every playoffs. He does it every playoffs.
I just don't understand what was going on there. I mean, the Heat, they're cool. They're streaky. When they're hot, they're hot. When they're not, they're not. I just can't pick which team is going to be. I mean, the play-in Heat, they shouldn't even be here right now. But now they look like they deserve to be here. I just don't understand. Maybe they can carve some wins out. Maybe. If they still won, I think game 1 is the one they can steal. Maybe. Just maybe. You coming off of a momentum high. Denver took the long layoff. Maybe you can steal game 1. If they do that, then anything is possible.
Yeah, they're 3-0 on the road in game 1 so far this playoff. So that's like kind of their MO.
So yeah, that's what I think they should do.
It's just weird because, like, there are teams that have a lot of guys. Like, the Bucks have a lot of guys. The Celtics have a lot of guys. The Lakers have a lot of guys. The Warriors have a lot of guys. What makes the Heat so interesting is they really don't have a lot of guys. Like, it's all, and I know this story's been overplayed so much, but they truly have a bunch of undrafted dudes. And it's like, it doesn't matter. One of them steps up. Like, I know for a fact that when Jimmy Butler does not show up, one of either Vincent or Strus or Caleb Martin is going to be hitting every shot they take. It's like, I don't know.
JK, honestly, I knew y'all were going to lose when Kyle Lowry hit the 27-footer from the wing.
It was like right in front of the bench, right in front of the bench.
Right in front of the bench. I was like, yeah, it's over with. This is a legacy game, man.
I don't know, man. It was just honestly tough. If you want my honest opinion, not even from a game perspective, as soon as that happened to Tatum's ankle in the first play, I was like, oh, this is just a sign that this is going to be the worst game I've ever seen. And you can say what you want. You know, if you're a Tatum hater, if you're a Celtics hater, I have no problem with you just saying they got beat, because you shouldn't be in a game 7 against the 8 seed. They should have taken care of business. So I agree. They shouldn't have been in that situation. But it was honestly painful to watch him try to stay on the court after that. His lateral movement was awful.
It was bad.
Like,
he got hunted.
He had to, I'm pretty sure, before that injury, Jimmy Butler had to have been shooting like low 20s, maybe even worse than that, in the percentiles against Tatum as his primary defender. And he was hunting Tatum. If that tells you anything, like, I don't know. I mean, so I guess this leads me, I want to hear some unbiased perspectives on this. You know, the Celtics fan can't chime in. So, Jim, if you're looking at the Celtics.
I don't know if I'm unbiased here. I'm the opposite of your bias.
So, okay. So, yeah, that's true. It's a different type of bias. But see, it's the same thing with Pierre. He's a Lakers fan. So either way, it's like, you know, we're getting a biased perspective. But,
for sure.
Okay, I will let both of you answer this because I'm just curious. Like, what do you do with Jaylen Brown? Because your best guy goes down, your second team all NBA guy is supposed to be able to, you know, at least carry a little bit of weight. The dude shot 7 of 43 in this series. I've never seen Jaylen Brown shoot 16% from deep in a series. That is crazy. The turnovers are still terrible. He still can't dribble. Jim, What do you do?
He can't dribble at all.
Why can't he dribble? I don't get it.
Oh, it's bad,
It's
man.
crazy.
He has a middle school handle. It's bad. It's so bad.
Honestly, maybe this is the boring answer from the hater, but I'd keep it. I unless you can get Lillard, I think he's like the one true upgrade where you go from Brown to him. Like Beal's injury risk, and you don't really know what you're getting there. If you're just good every year, like you're in the finals, you're in the conference finals, like you're probably going to get one eventually. Like I don't want to, I think blowing it up would be silly, like just completely nuking it and starting over with Tatum and a bunch of young guys. I would only move Brown if you're getting another star, because you're just definitely going to be one of the best 2 or 3 teams in the East next year. Like no question about it. And I hate that. I don't want Boston to be good, but I just think like, right after losing a series, you want drastic changes, and I felt that way about the Bucks too. But with the benefit of a little bit of perspective, I'm like, they're going to be awesome again next year with Giannis and Middleton, hopefully healthier, and they'll be a great regular season team. Hopefully, Holiday figures out in the playoffs. But that's the same with the Celtics. Like, who's going to be great enough in the East to contend with them? I think you're fine bringing it back and just kind of hoping you get the bounces to go your way, the health goes your way late in the season again, and see where it takes you. Maybe you change coaches. That's my question.
Yeah, that's the one where it's like, I do feel bad for Joe because he really was just thrown into the worst situation. Like he didn't ask to be there. Like it just happened. And, I'm on the fence about it because, there was times he made adjustments, but I just think you have to, there's too many good veteran coaches out there that you could bring in where I feel like you just can't sit and let Joe develop. And I do agree with that perspective on Jalen. I'm curious, P, how do you feel? It's because
my man Jim kind of took my thunder with it. You know what I'm saying? I always say you got to make the play on Lillard. That was my first thing I was going to say. I feel like the Lillard sweepstakes it's very high right now. And for both of y'all's teams, like last week, JK, we were talking about Lillard, and I was saying I would love to see him in Milwaukee. That's my favorite destination for him. But if the Celtics could, you do it. But I think it's time to move on from maybe the Smart or the Horford, that type of thing. I think you just got to shake the core up a little bit. Maybe not the 2, Brown and Tatum, but shake the core up a little bit. That's it. I mean, y'all are fine, man. Like y'all been to 5 Eastern Conference Finals. Like it's just last year Tatum was hurt. You probably win Game 7 if Tatum doesn't get hurt. My personal opinion. Like I mean, it's just unfortunate events, but
yeah,
I mean, y'all did the best y'all could with Ime. Like going
the Brogdon injury also killed us. Dude, he scored 2 points over the last 3 or 4 games.
Brogdon gets hurt every year. That is true. As a former Bucks fan, or he used to be on the Bucks, he got hurt every playoffs, and it's like, well, you just can't rely on him. So when the Celtics got him, I was like, that sucks. But I also know he won't be there when they need him in the playoffs, and he wasn't.
That's true. And it's like, it's the worst injury. Like, dude tears a tendon from here to here. You can't shoot. And this is the worst. I mean, the Celtics were up 3, and they brought in Brogdon in Game 7. He airballed the 3, and in his minutes before he got pulled, I think it was 6 minutes, they were down 15. Like he was just useless. And I mean, it's tough, but I mean, I do think the Lillard thing makes sense. And I know a lot of people I've seen, obviously I'm deep in Celtics Twitter. Their concern with Dame has been the contract and the fact that he's 33, but it's like, dude, championship windows are short. And a point that Pierre made to me when we talked about it is Dame, honestly, he's 33, but he doesn't have as many playing years as other guys because the Blazers shut him down the last 2 seasons. So it's like, I don't know. I just think if you have the opportunity to put Lillard and Tatum beside each other, and obviously you would lose Jalen, you'd probably lose one other big piece, and you'd lose picks, but Lillard and Tatum together, I mean, it's the same thing I see with the Bucks. Like if Lillard and Giannis are on the same team, you do what you have to do to make that happen, because that's just not.
It does a little bit more for Tatum if he has Lillard, though. Like if Dame and Giannis team up, it's just 2 megastars doing what they need to do, handle business. But seeing Dame kind of like be a leader to Simons and then the rest of those guys, like Simons turned it up a notch this year, and every year that he's been in the league, like Tatum could really learn a lot from Dame in terms of leadership and just overall play and doing things. I feel like it would change Tatum for the better even after Dame is gone, being 33, and the Celtics could be set up for a long haul. I really think Tatum's going to be, like I told you, JK, a Celtic for life. I feel like if you get somebody around him that can boost his mentality up a little bit, he'd be dangerous, more dangerous than he already is.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned them like cutting his minutes early too. He also from age 20 to 22 was playing college and not 82 game NBA seasons, like grinding that, like compared to somebody like Tatum who left after 1 year. Lil was a 4-year college guy. That's way less miles on your tank than playing a bunch of pro games and going to the playoffs and playing an extra 20 there too. Like, so maybe that helps him have some more longevity as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the other thing that Lillard offers is obviously he's a generational talent, but just give me some, this is the problem with Jalen and Jason. Dame is a guy that if he's playing beside Tatum, like Tatum can take possessions where he doesn't have to have the ball. He doesn't have to be the primary ball handler. Every time we try to do that with Jalen and run actions for Jalen, he dribbles off his kneecap. It's like, Tatum's like sidekick needs to be a primary ball handler, in my opinion, just because of how he plays. And I don't know. It's just, that's my problem with the Jalen thing. Now I do completely understand. They're probably going to give him the Supermax because with the new CBA and everything, it's
a lot of
the
money,
next 2 years. I think him and Tatum would take up 50% next year and 60% the year after that. It's like those 2 years, they could still do something. But after that, it's literally just Tatum and Brown, and then you're probably going to have everything else either drafted or vet men's mid-level exceptions. It's going to get real. It's going to get real nasty. So I don't know. I think the Dame thing would be cool, but I've kind of just come to accept the fact that, and I'm not mad at it. Like you guys said, we've been to 5 Eastern Conference Finals. It's not like we haven't hit the greatest level of success yet, but it's not like they haven't been successful. So I'm not mad at it. I think I've accepted the reality that most of this team's going to be brought back. We make probably 1 or 2 moves, and we probably get a new coach. I mean, I'd be fine with that too. So we'll move from my squad to the other squad that the Heat sadly defeated. Mr. Roots Milwaukee Bucks. I guess there's 2 positives. At least you lost to Jimmy. 1, like I said earlier, and 2, I really don't think anyone truthfully believes they beat you if Giannis is healthy. So, I mean, you have those 2 things on your side. But first off, Adrian Griffin, how do you feel?
Lukewarm, I guess. I don't know. There's some intrigue because he's not a retread, so it's not like I know what his limitations are. So I call this like the allure of the unknown when we talk about guys that are transfers or something in college basketball. But like, if I haven't seen him do anything bad yet, I can hope that he doesn't have a bunch of terrible tendencies. I like that Giannis likes him, and that's important if we're trying to keep Giannis long term. And I know he's up for a shorter extension this year. I doubt he signs it, but you kind of have to say yes to him when it comes down to 3 coaches, and he likes one of them more. And he does have the benefit of having worked under some really smart coaches in the past. Like, I'm sure he picked some stuff up from Nick Nurse, and you go back through his assistant history, and I like guys that have good pedigree in that sense. I'm just hoping that he doesn't get a little overwhelmed being the first year on the job. But we've seen guys win a title in their first year on the job. Nick Nurse did it for Toronto. So it's completely possible. But I'm still hesitant, and I want to see it before I start getting overjoyed.
So, do you think, like what would be, I do think making the coaching change was the right thing. Personally, I hated the timing of it because everything Bud was going through, and I feel like he should have been fired. I honestly feel like he should have been fired after last playoffs, to be quite honest. But, I mean, they rolled the dice with him again. But I get it. But do you think they will make any roster changes? Like, what do you think is coming in terms of the Bucks offseason?
My best guess is they run it back. They're pretty old. I mean, they're like one of the oldest teams in the league. Middleton and Lopez are the big roster decisions. I think Middleton's back almost surely because they can't replace him, and I don't know what his value really is on the open market coming off a fairly injured season. So he's got the player option. He's got to decide there. I think either he opts in or he opts out and they extend him. He'll be back. The big decision is Lopez because that could really change like the structure of the team, like how they play defense is all about funneling people to him through drop coverage. And if they bring him back, it's super, super expensive. But my big thing is if you own the Milwaukee Bucks and you're not going to pay the tax while you have Giannis, why the hell do you own a basketball team? What's the point? So I hope they're willing to dig into the pockets. I know it's going to be expensive because of the repeater tax and it's going to be really, really pricey, but I think we see them all back for at least the next 2 years. Holiday has said he's going to retire maybe at the end of this contract. So I think they just see what happens the next 2 years, and then it's going to be a total free-for-all after that.
Yeah. So, P, what would you like to see Milwaukee do, realistically?
Obviously, I'll say obviously excluding Damian Lillard. Sorry, Jim. I wish, man. I wish.
Hey, I'm okay if that happens.
You know what I'm saying? I just
sign
really
me
want
up.
to see Giannis play with like a megastar, man. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I just really want to see that. But realistically, what he's saying is very true. It's his squad. He knows best. So shout out Jim. But I was gonna say extend Brook. That was the main focus for me. I mean, I've seen a lot of Lakers fans wanting to clean Tony, like, hey, maybe we should get Brook. I'm like, Milwaukee should not let him walk at all. Yeah, run it back. I mean, realistically, you were title favorites before Giannis got hurt. Run it back. I mean, there's no reason to panic. You know, there's no reason to panic, which I feel like they did when they fired Mike, truthfully, but there's no reason to panic at all.
Yeah. They've never lost a series with Holiday, Middleton, and Giannis healthy. Hasn't happened. I mean, they've only had 1 year where they were all healthy for a full playoff run, but they had that. They never lost to every year. Bud was the coach. They either won the title or lost to the team that made the finals. So they never like had some real crappy loss. It looked like this was going to be one, but then there goes Butler all the way to the finals. So yeah, I think you run it back to this core and hope that you have a little bit more of a flexible coach where Griffin can make some more tweaks because Bud was just stubborn. Didn't really like to adjust during series.
Yeah,
for sure.
And
I can definitely see that.
That's where I honestly feel like, especially if Jokic gets one this year, like I think he will. Giannis and Jokic are so comparable because the MVPs, they're always amazing individually, and both times that their teams have actually been healthy, they haven't lost. So it's like, I don't know. I hate injuries, and I know this sounds crazy. This is more of a basketball fan speaking than a Celtics fan. Obviously, I would hate Dame and Giannis playing on the same team because good luck if you're playing against Dame and Giannis. However, I just feel like of all the superstars in the league, excluding maybe Jokic, which I don't know, at this point you could make the argument that Jamal right now is better than Middleton for sure with the injuries, and possibly better than Drew. I like Giannis is the only superstar that hasn't played with another legitimate star to me, like ever. Like Middleton and Drew are great, but
right. Megastar. We're talking megastar.
Yeah,
you know?
like
that's what we're talking about.
I'm just saying, if there ever comes a point in time, Jim, that our two guys, Giannis and Jason Tatum, similar in age, 28, 25, there could come a point in time where they end up just saying, screw it, and just join forces and just.
As long as they do it in Milwaukee, not Boston. That sounds great to me.
I don't think
honestly, bro.
Nah, I don't know, bro. I don't think Giannis will ever leave Milwaukee, if I'm being honest. I really
He don't like big cities. He said it. He don't like big cities.
So. Bro, that's because if he goes to a big city, he has to wait for his 50-piece nugget from Chick-fil-A, and he just can't have that.
He can't do it. He can't do it at all.
Listen, I just, I'm scared of Giannis next year, if I'm being real, because there's plenty of guys that say things and you don't necessarily know. But just knowing what I do about Giannis, when he's focusing this hard on the fact that next year's like a revenge tour, dude might average 40 a game. Like
this is like the longest offseason he's had in a while too, to where maybe he actually does add something. Like if the turnaround jumper from 15 feet suddenly is 42% and like an actual weapon for him, then it's crazy. And he's actually got time to work on it. So
I really don't want to see none of that.
Bro,
I don't want to see none of that, man.
If Giannis ever becomes a dude who can even shoot like mid-30s on pull-up jumpers, like deep pull-up jumpers especially, like it's not fair. It's just not fair. I mean,
one game, bro.
He's already unguardable as is. We don't like, I'm honestly, that's another thing. Obviously, if the Celtics would have won the title, it would have been great. But like, dude, Tatum needed the damn break from basketball. The dude's been playing hoops for like almost 2 straight years now. Like, I think he's played too much, honestly. Like
I gave you the breakdown. He went from Eastern Conference Finals, hopped on a plane, went to the Olympics, came back, played in Pro-Am, went to the finals, came back to training camp, then started this season over again, and then went back to the Eastern Conference Finals. Bro, take a break. You love basketball. I get it. Take a break. Just go chill with Deuce by the pool and have a good time, man. And and JK, I just want to point out something. You talked about the Caleb Martin game, which is cool. I think it was 2020 before COVID shut down. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Jim remembers this game. I think Giannis played the Lakers. He did the crown thing. I think bro hit 5 threes that game. You want to talk about me being sick? I was sick. If he has a 3-point shot in his bag, he might be the GOAT. He might be one of those ones.
They were rolling before COVID hit. They were like,
for sure.
I think they had won like 18 of 19 games or something. They looked like the best team. Then they got to the bubble. Did not look good. Giannis rolled the ankle in the Heat series, and they were shot. But
like, I genuinely, it's hard to say this because it's like, if COVID doesn't happen, I do think they win that year. Which, granted, the next year,
hold up.
The next year they won. The next year they won also was sort of a COVID year. So, like, I don't want to say they would have went back to back because who knows, but they were. I'm just saying, P. What you just made it fresh in my mind. What I saw them do to the Lakers in that game, bro, and like the level that Giannis was on.
Hey, JK, it was still a close game. We just
lost. It
was
scary hours.
It was still a close game. They just lost. I mean, for real. Like, who knows how that COVID year would have turned out? Because the Lakers, obviously, you see how they are now. AD or Bron gets hurt. Like, you know what I'm saying? They have to play that full scale. Cool. Lakers probably would have ended up with the first seed, got home court. We probably would have saw a Bucks and Lakers finals. It would have been really cool to see.
Oh, it would have.
But in 2021, with the Bucks, I don't really know, man. Because if KD would have had Kyrie, I don't know if they would have beat them. It was weird, but it all turned out for the better, though. For sure, it all turned out for the better.
Listen,
that's how you win the title. Yeah, I mean,
that's how you win the Bucks stayed healthy that year. No one else did. Like that, you forget it after all the years, but in the moment, people kept bringing it up. Like now, it's just the Bucks won in 21. That's what people remember. But yeah,
I'm glad y'all did. I couldn't take those Phoenix fans for sure.
Hell yeah!
Appreciate y'all, Jim.
We do what we could.
The thing.
I was in the arena for one game. I was doing the best I could in that finals.
That's awesome, bro.
That's the thing that people just often forget is that availability is the best ability, and that's why it does make it a little more hurtful. Because yes, the Celtics did see injuries in the second half of the Heat series, but you were healthy for the most part of the playoffs. And it's just those flaws of inconsistency, and it's the flaws of late game execution. It was just terrible. I mean, it's the reason they lost games 1 and 2 and found themselves in that position anyways. And that's what I really hate, because you bring up that point of health. I mean, we can go back down the list of countless finals of where there has been a key injury that has swayed who the champion was. And it's like, dude, every team, I mean, the Nuggets weren't hurt, but every team in the East was hurt. Even the Heat, they didn't have Hero. Like, this was the most prime opportunity for the Celtics to get out of there, actually take care of business against the Heat. You know, everyone's like, oh, they're going to beat them in 5, yada, yada, yada. Talent-wise, they should have, but, you know, like I said, the team's inconsistent. I do wonder about their mental toughness sometimes, because I think that does kind of tie into late game execution a little bit. Obviously, Joe's not great, but the guys look scared to take shots sometimes. Let's just say that, and I hate that. But I
The
don't know.
Tatum and Brown era really never had a true leader, in my opinion. Opinion, though, I think I was talking about this today. Like when Tatum came in the league, like when they got to the playoffs, he was the guy already. You know what I'm saying? He was the guy. And then JB followed around. Then JB was his right hand man. So they had Terry. I mean, I guess Al could be your leader, but not really, you know. But then they got Kemba, and it's like, I mean, like they've been leading the team since they were 20. So I mean, what else could you possibly want from them mentally wise? I don't.
They got put around Kyrie, and that's the bad kind of nurture. You don't want that guy's leadership rubbing off.
I can't believe I already forgot about him in Boston. That run was crazy.
That's like why Brad Stevens stopped coaching. He's like, I hate this guy.
Yeah, that's the last thing I gotta say, bro. If I see one more person with this, bro, they can't fire Joe. That's 4 coaches in 4 years. That's the dumbest narrative ever, because Brad retired. He retired from coaching to be the GM because Ainge retired. They didn't like get him fired. And then Ime, we know what Ime did. There's no need to elaborate on that. So he obviously gets fired. And then it's like Joe comes in. So Joe would be the first coach that truly got like fired for actual execution reasons. Like, let's pump the brakes a little bit on this group is our coaches killers narrative. Like, dude,
no. And it's not like when Missoula got hired, they had done some exhaustive search of a bunch of high quality candidates. It was this weird timing thing where they kind of just had to run with it and promote him rather than. Yeah, I'm trying to think of who's like it could have gotten Frank Vogel would have been available then or something.
Yeah.
Like you never know.
I'm pretty sure it was literally like Vogel, Joe, and Damon Stoudemire. And then of course, once we didn't give it to Damon, he wasn't gonna stay. Went straight to Georgia Tech. So it's like, I don't know, man. It was tough. But
who's your ideal candidate right now, JK, if you had one? I mean, there's some pretty good coaches out right now. Would you bring Doc back? That's funny.
I would love that.
It'd be hilarious. But if you want my honest opinion, and I know what people are going to say, bro, they got his team got smoked and closed up. I would personally say Monty Williams, because I understand if you want to bring up Game 7 Dallas, this year, first off, this year, the Suns were depleted because they traded for KD, lost all their depth, and then their starters got hurt. So it's like, what are you going to do? But that's what they need. Like, they need a veteran coach with experience. And if you want to hate on the getting blown out in elimination games, that's cool. But let's not forget, like, the Suns were the laughing stock of the league before Monty Williams took over. So it's like, he took them to the finals. He took them to the playoffs. I'm pretty sure every year besides the bubble, and they went 8-0 in the bubble. I mean, what else could they have done? So that'd be my ideal candidate. But
me personally, I can't blame Monty Williams for Devin Booker having 11 points in an elimination game. I can't blame him for that. That's just nasty work. I mean, that's just nasty, bro. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, when your stars don't perform, your players don't show. Obviously, they point to coaches first, but your roster didn't show. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Same thing with Devin Booker against the Bucks. After Brown didn't. Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's the thing about Joe is like, there's certain things, but I mean, come on, like, you lost the first 2 games. One, because Tatum did not have a point or a field goal in the fourth quarter. I mean, you could say, oh, well, he was doing a good job of drawing up sets. Dude, Tatum's the best player on the floor. Like, he's got to be able to go. Like, I promise you, if Giannis, it doesn't matter what Bud draws up for Giannis, he's going to get points in the fourth quarter. That's just a fact. Like, it's a mentality.
He tried against the Heat in Game 5 and just went like 1 for 9 from the field.
Dude, yeah,
like, but at least he shot. At least he took shots.
Yeah, let's be real though. Like, we could tell how hurt Giannis was, bro. He probably shouldn't even been playing, to be honest with you. Like, I mean, it was bad. He did not look like himself. So I don't know. And then, Jaylen Brown having like the worst shooting series of his career didn't help. And that's not Joe's fault either. So it's like, I don't know. Take it. I'm not going to be mad if they fire Joe. I'm not going to be mad if they decide to keep him and actually like give him a staff.
I'll say put a staff around him.
instead of letting him do it by himself. So wouldn't be mad either way. But yeah, it's bad times for me and Jim, man. Like the Heat, they slayed our hearts and
they ripped our souls out, man. Both of us thought we were going to win a title this year, and we thought we'd have an epic Eastern Conference Finals against each other, and instead Jimmy Butler just collecting our souls as he went along.
Yep,
he collecting
and make no
Infinity
mistake,
Stones right now, ain't he?
This
Butler got the gauntlet.
Yeah,
this is cool, but me and Jim talk about this all the time. Like, let's not make any mistakes. The Bucks and the Celtics are still the runners of the East for a long time. If healthy.
So. Let's hope
if
so.
healthy.
Because the Sixers ain't going to cut. I don't know what's going on over there. They not going to
what keep Wembanyama out west. I love that. So yeah, just keep the East depleted. Keep the East depleted.
Just keep it depleted because eventually Joel Embiid is going to be like, shit, I might have to go out west too, and then it's really going to get nasty. It's just going to be Honest Tatum every year.
Oh my gosh!
Unless LeBron goes back to Cleveland, but doubt it.
I mean, he'd be 50 by that time. I mean, ain't nothing to worry about, really. I mean, he'd be 50.
So from the NBA playoffs to the NBA draft, this is a wonderful time. Let's see. Today is May 30th, so the NBA draft is in about. By the time this releases, it'll be 23 days, but it's in 24 at the time of recording. I just wanted to do some brain picking on y'all here, and I will obviously have my answers too. Excluding the obvious, Wemby, Scoot, Miller, even if you want to exclude like the Thompson twins and stuff, that's fine. First question for you guys, draft-wise. Who is your late first or guy that's not projected to be a late first and ends up being one that you think is just such good value, like way, way too low? Like, who is your guy? Who is your sleeper in this draft?
I'm going to be honest, Jim. I'm going to go ahead and go first because let me tell you why. You are a college basketball stan. JK, you were very knowledgeable in college basketball. Me, I fell back on it a little bit. I couldn't, after Caleb and RJ ruined my dreams and hopes, everything. I was like, you know what? I'm done with all this. So I did a little research today just to see. And I came across Leonard Miller. I don't know where he's projected. I don't know what's going on. I know he played in the G League. But I looked at his traits, JK. He's 6'10" with a 7'2" wingspan. Playing the wing, can dribble. Apparently, he inconsistent with a jump shot, but I know the traits are like an NFL thing. But you get a 6'10" guy that can dribble and finish at the rim, 7'2" wingspan. I think you could develop that into a pretty good player. And I'm gonna keep my eyes on him. That's basically my answer. I'm gonna keep my eyes on him. I think he's gonna be okay.
I'll let Jim answer this in a little more in depth, but just like me personally, from listening to guys talk about him, watching the film, he's just kind of one of those guys that he just kind of does all the little things right. Like he just, there's obviously things that he needs to work on from a skill perspective, but he's like a big physical body that just does everything right. And my guy Sam Vecini's high on him, so I can't doubt you for that. So I mean, Jim, how do you feel about Leonard Miller?
Yeah, as Pierre said, I'm more college, so I don't watch a ton of international or G League Ignite, but Vicini and a couple other smart people I trust really like Miller, and like the level of production he had at his age against adults in the G League, most of the time playing guys older than him, more physical than him, held up pretty well. Yeah, the 3-point shooting wasn't quite there, but like he did a lot else. Shot 55% from the field. Like that's pretty darn good for a teenager at that level of competition with his physical tool set. He seems pretty intriguing to me, especially if you're a team that's got a longer timeline where you're not looking for an immediate contributor. Like I think that's a great sleeper.
Yeah, I agree.
Know me.
Listen, Jim being the college basketball expert, look, I have to credit the 3-man weave. Shout out the legends for at 3MW_CPB, by the way. I have to shout out the legends because that's where I get all my college basketball expertise. I'm sitting here listening to dudes who could tell me the entire depth chart of like UMKC. So we're living lavish here. I'm actually going to go to one of the 3-man weave's favorite squads here for my sleeper. I must admit, I am a Maxwell Lewis stan. I love some Max Lewis.
Wow, the waves.
I love it. Listen, I was not tapped into Pepperdine. And then I heard
they shouldn't be. They sucked.
They do suck, but it was funny because you guys were talking about them sucking. But then you were also talking about how good Max Lewis is. So then I had to watch a couple of their games. The dude's just a flat out scorer. Like straight up, he's 6'7", like 30, like 35, 36% career from three. Like he just has an NBA scoring arsenal to me. And I just like watching him play a lot. It's kind of a wings league a little bit right now. So, I don't know. I love me some Max Lewis. What can I say? Love me some Max Lewis.
Yeah, I will add that he was not terribly well coached in college, and the team, the pieces around him did not help. So I think like NBA spacing, NBA talent around him will be highly beneficial to somebody of his talent. My favorite prospect, Jake, I'm going to stay in the same metro area.
Oh, God.
Not the same team, but this is a little further down. Definitely a college expert pick here, or college obsessive. Jaime Jaquez, I think, is just destined to play for a winner, contribute, can score inside and out, off the dribble or away from the ball. He's going to defend his tail off. He's physical. The guy just, there's very few people that Mick Cronin will end up like enamored with as a coach, where he's like, I loved coaching that guy. And he was like head over heels every time he talked about Jaquez. And so that intangible stuff to go with like the weird mid-post game he has, the 3-point shots coming along as well. Maybe he's not a high ceiling type of guy, but like late first, if you're a team that's got a shorter window, like the Bucks, the Celtics, some of these West teams that are competing, I think you can throw him in right away and he's going to contribute on that rookie contract all 4 years.
No, I agree. He's got that. You explained it perfectly. The weird mid-range stuff, like it's almost like his IQ. He just knows. He knows where the defender is at all times, and he's just one of those guys that, like, if you give him even the slightest angle, he knows how to turn. He knows how to get to the basket. Like, he can shoot. He can do everything. Like, I think there's always one guy in every draft that's like a 3-4 year college guy, doesn't get drafted high because they're a 3-4 year college guy, and then they end up making an immediate impact. I could definitely see that being Jaquez this year. He's an animal, straight up.
Yep. Just the guy like I'd want to have if the Bucks had a first round pick, which they don't this year. They've traded it away, but he's the type of guy I'd like to grab late. Unlike last year when they grabbed a G League Ignite project and it was a failure. So yeah, give me a win.
Yeah, I can see that. So this will be similar question, but to a little bit different scale. Who is somebody that is a projected late lotto, maybe top 20 guy that you think could end up being a top, 5-6 guy from this draft? I'll go first because I just absolutely love this man's game. Bro, I'll believe in Jordan Hawkins till the day I die. That man is just the way, like, first off, if he's set and he catches, you might as well go ahead and put 3 points on the board. Second off, the dude was playing college basketball. Obviously, no one can replicate Curry, but just the way he never stops moving and the way he only needs a split second off of screens. Like, he can hit the weird angle shots. He's athletic. The dude's offensive arsenal is insane. And the answer for this question, I was actually torn between him and another elite bucket getter, Keontae George, but I don't know, man. Jordan Hawkins is just, I don't see a world in which Jordan Hawkins is a bad NBA player. Just let me say that. The shot making is just too good. Like, and I genuinely think that he is the best shooter in this draft without question. So I don't know. Just love some Jordan Hawkins.
I just want to say, like, I mean, obviously, like I said, once again, for the viewers at home, I'm not a college basketball guru. I wish I was, unfortunately. But anybody that can play off the pick and roll will do very well in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? If you got a high IQ and know your options coming off the pick and roll in the NBA, you're good. Because that's mainly what you're running. That's mainly what you're running. You're hunting most of the time. If you got a bag, then you'll be fine. So I like to pick. I'm hearing all of y'all's guys. I'm gonna go back and watch the film on these guys because I'm actually gonna be enjoying this. I got something to watch tonight. But I guess in that sense, JK top 20. Wait, so you said top 20 and will end up being. Go ahead. What'd you say?
Like
Lottery
end up
top
being
20?
It could be a top 5 guy. I mean, obviously we're not going to include like the 3 at the top, but you know.
Okay. So like if I said Grady Dick, then I could say Grady Dick if I wanted to.
Yeah, that's fine.
Hey, I'm
That's
gonna say
fine.
Grady Dick. I mean, out of the college basketball I watched this year, he was hooping. I like Grady Dick. He got the tray ball. You know what I'm saying? He is young and everything, but I mean, what is great? How tall is Grady Dick? What, maybe 6'7", 6'6", 6'7"?
Yes, maybe pushing 6'8". Like he's
Yeah,
big
he's
for the
tall.
wing.
So I mean, so if you, it's a wing league, obviously. I think if he goes to a team that can bring out the best in him, I saw today a report that Dallas wasn't going to draft him. Thank God, because he would never touch the basketball with Luka on his team. So that being said, hopefully he goes somewhere like Utah or something like that where he can kind of showcase his skills. My dream destination for him was Indiana, weirdly enough, because him and Halliburton would be really cool. Buddy Hield's on the way out. Maybe that would probably be my destination for him. And I think he'd be really good. I think he'd be really good there.
I mean, listen, Grady Dick, elite scorer, but I actually heard on a Field of 68 prospect profile, my guy Matt McCall was bringing up something that I did not notice, which was this man had a positive assist to turnover ratio as a freshman in the Big 12. That is insane. When you're taking care of the basketball like that in the Big 12, that's a feat. So, Jim, what do you got for us?
Right in the same range on most big boards. I think Cason Wallace is going to be a stud. And
I love Cason Wallace.
Like, why would you bet against a Kentucky guard at this point? Like, every guy seems to outperform his slot. Monk, Fox, Murray, Quickly, Maxey, like all these guys are better than where they're drafted. And if he's going to be drafted late lottery, I think he can play up to a higher level than that. He's a huge physical bulldog of a guard, like 6'4" with strength. I think he'll be able to guard. And I think he's a lot better offensively than he got to show this year. There was not a lot of complementary weapons for Kentucky on the offensive end. They always had Sheboy kind of clogging the lane. I think with NBA spacing, he'll benefit. That's kind of what always happens with Kentucky guards. I love Wallace. I love his mindset. He's ferocious, and he'll be two-way contributor big time.
Yeah, no. I mean, look, there's one thing you cannot coach, and that is defense. And that man he's just got clamps, bro. Like he dead ass gives me Drew Holiday vibes. He really does. Except hopefully he'll be better in the playoffs. But I mean, you know.
Jim, I got a question for that. A follow-up question off of your guide. Is there a dream destination you would like him to go? And same with you, JK. I like to hear the dream destinations because I'm an NBA guy. So I like to kind of put in perspective where these guys are going to be, how they're going to play, what role they'll play in. So yeah, dream destinations.
Boy, Jacob, do you have one for your guy there? Because
okay, so it's weird. His dream destination is a little bit, I think people would honestly consider it a reach just because, you know, Hawkins is probably going to be in between 15 to 20. But me personally, I don't know. Maybe it's not a reach. Maybe 18 is not too high. And I hate to say this because, look, can't stand the heat, but Strus is about to sign somewhere and they're losing someone else too. I don't remember who it is, but I'm just saying if the Heat actually draft Jordan Hawkins, that's scary because you're plugging in a guy who's going to come in and knock down threes exactly like you want. He's going to be getting coached by Spo. He's going to have some dogs around him to get his mind right. I think Jordan Hawkins would be elite in Miami.
Heat culture's real, JK. I was calling.
Apparently so.
I was calling Cat. Man. It's real, and it's here.
I'll go Utah for Wallace because they've got some front court pieces already in place there. Markkanen can spread the floor. They don't really have the backcourt piece of the future unless you love Sexton. But then you've got Conley as kind of the mentor for him for Wallace there. And I just think with what they've got around there set up, they need somebody like him to come in and develop with that younger group. I think that could be a pretty great fit for him.
Thank y'all, man. Thank y'all for that.
Dude, Kaysen is literally insane. Like, I wouldn't even mind. You might hate me for saying this, but I wouldn't even mind Kaysen in like Orlando.
No, I wouldn't either.
Like, if you could put him around Franz and Paolo and like Wendell.
Franz is so good, man. Oh my god.
Franz is insane. That's a conversation for another day, but
I love his
this
game,
man, Franz Wagner, is a different breed, bro. Like, I don't know how to explain it. He don't make no sense to me, but he just knows how to do it. That now that I think about it, maybe not to the same level, but I think Franz Wagner is like the perfect NBA player comp for Jaime Jaquez, honestly, now that I think about it. I think Franz is a better passer, but the way they play is just like, it's insane. I genuinely, I guess this is the last thing, and this is more of a totality question about the draft. Like, how do you guys feel about this draft class as a whole? Because obviously you do have the Wemby and Scoot aspect, but I feel like the Wemby and Scoot aspect is taken away from the fact that this is actually like
pretty solid draft,
a pretty deep draft. So, I mean, I guess, Jim, where would you like? Do you think that this goes down as one of those like elite draft classes? Do you think it's a top heavy draft? How do you feel?
The problem I have answering this is that I don't watch, like I said, a lot of G League Ignite, Overtime Elite. Like, I have not watched the Thompson twins very much at all. And if they're awesome and like you have this incredible top five with Scoot, Miller, Wembanyama, and those two, then everything looks great after that. And so when I look at that, all the college guys that I like are further down the board than I would have expected, because there's guys that from other backgrounds that are so highly ranked. It seems like it's going to be really good to me, and maybe not quite star heavy late lottery. Unless my guy Wallace does like the Donovan Mitchell and really shines in that like 10 to 12 draft spot. But I love Taylor Hendricks. I love Jarris Walker. I think Cam Whitmore's got some real pop to him. Just didn't end up in a good situation last year. So I think it's going to be pretty strong. I don't know if that's really the general consensus with a lot of the scouts, but just from a college guy that hasn't seen a lot of the stars to see all the college guys bump down, I think that's intriguing to me.
Yeah, I agree. P, how do you feel about this draft class?
Honestly, I think it's fairly deep. I mean, obviously you got more options with G League and Overtime and college guys. I think you got a good variety more over than other years. I guess Wemby's obviously the big bad. I call him the Thanos of the draft class because I'm saying he's him. So I was gonna compare to the 2017 draft class because there's a lot of good wings and some good guards in there, but 2017 draft class really didn't have the big bad. If Zion would have got drafted in 2017, then it would be like kind of like that. But nah, like I think it's a really good draft class, and it turned out pretty smooth. I mean, like I said, I looked up earlier. We were just talking about Grady Dick. I looked him up. I mean, they say he's mocked obviously Dallas said they're not going to draft him, but he was mocked 10 to 15. Any other year, he might be top 7. So yeah. I think this is a really good draft class, man, for real.
I do too.
I do want to say one thing, JK, because we didn't get to touch on the top guys. And this is a plea. I pray Charlotte drafts Scoot. I really do pray that Charlotte drafts Scoot. I'm not gonna lie. JK, we from Charlotte area. Him and LaMelo in the backcourt would be so formidable for years to come. If they get Miles Bridges back, there's no need to draft Brandon. I mean, I'm just saying, just go get Scoot, please. Don't make it hard. Don't make it complicated.
It's dumb, bro. Like, I understand Brandon Miller is the fit, but like, dude, there's
If you
just
draft
no
for fit in the
way.
top 3, you're an idiot.
Yeah, it's
Draft the
Thank
like
best
you.
dude.
that's what I'm saying. It's like, bro,
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, like, what if you pass on Scoot and LaMelo walks on you?
He
Then what do
definitely
you do?
will. He
Because
definitely
he's
will.
what, 1 year away from his contract year? Like, let's not play dumb, man. Like, if I'm a Hornets fan, and we're not talking like, number 7 or number 8. We're talking number 2, and we're also talking about a guy who, if not for the fact that he was beside one of the most generational prospects ever, would be a consensus number 1 overall pick. So it's like, I don't know. It's genuinely insane to me. If they take Brandon Miller at 2,
it might be a riot in the city. I just wanted to show some love to our Hornets fans, man, because we never talk about the Charlotte Hornets on here. We never do, and for good reason. Obviously, they're stains. But I just wanted to plead for the Hornets fans. And obviously, in years past, they've made some questionable decisions. Like JK, me and you watched this draft together. We watched them live pass on MPJ. We watched them. Me and you together. We watched them trade Shy or Shay, whichever one you pronounce it. Like so many weird roster moves has happened. Just make the right pick. Same with the Panthers. How I was feeling this year. Make the right pick. That's it.
yeah, it's
That's the
pretty
plea.
simple.
I'm sorry for holding y'all up. It was just a plea.
So before we get into the most hated and get out of here, rapid fire, Jim. This is your time to shine. We got to talk portal for like 5 minutes because me and Pierre's guy, not really, complete sarcasm. Caleb Love is an Arizona Wildcat. How are we feeling? Because, I was talking to Greg today. I mean, you went from Kirk Creesa to Caleb Love. Congratulations, I suppose.
Yeah, Kirk Creesa and Courtney Ramey, both a little bit erratic themselves. I mean, it's everybody who ends up with Caleb Love is like, all right, I'm willing to bet on the talent. Like all the Mizzou fans, like I want to bet on the talent. I trust Dennis to make it work. I just don't think he has any interest in not being the same player he was last year. Like, I think he wants to chuck. I think he wants to take a ton of threes, doesn't care what the shot clock says, doesn't care what the quality of the shot or the distance of the contest is. He just wants to get buckets up. And I like that Arizona plays fast, so he's going to get some transition opportunities. But in the half court, they play through their bigs. They run a lot of stuff through those guys and play 2 at one time. I think he's going to steal shots from people that should be taking them closer to the bucket. It's a gamble. I don't think it pays off for Arizona.
No,
I could have told you that,
bro. There's like, bro, I'm begging you, like, if you are an Arizona fan and you stumble across this episode, I'm begging you, do not buy into it. Like, I watched this man for 3 years do the same thing every single game. And you will have 5 to 6 games this year in which you were like, holy shit, Caleb Love is awesome. And then the other games, you're going to be like, why did we even offer Caleb Love a scholarship? So I'm just going to give you a warning. This is a question for everybody really quick. Best or favorite portal ad this year? Go. Whoever. I don't care.
Since I'm the new guy, right? I'm the new guy, right?
The new college basketball man.
New college basketball guy. I'm gonna go ahead and say Louisville. I did some research. Louisville pretty much added a whole new roster. You know what I'm saying? Through that whole portal thing. Yo, y'all been pooped. So luckily, maybe this changes everything. Honestly, if you revamp it like that, it reminds me of what LSU did in women's basketball. They pretty much added a whole new team. Maybe it works out for them. Maybe it don't. And I did some more research. I think apparently the best portal move, West Virginia. Apparently they did.
Oh yeah, West Virginia 8. Except they did get Kirk Creesa. So
I mean, I saw that they added 2 vets, the guard and then the big man. Hey, maybe that works out for them too. You know, the portal thing is good for college basketball. I'm glad people are getting to make their own decisions and you know what I'm saying, elevating their talents where they feel like it'd be best. So I'm hoping college basketball is moving in the right direction. The product stinks, my personal opinion. Sorry, Jim, I know you love it, but hopefully it's moving in the right direction.
I will
JK on
take no offense to that, even though I probably should. The best fit for me, Jacob, is Hunter Dickinson going to Kansas.
Yeah.
It just scheme wise, Bill Self will know how to use him. But I'm a Mizzou grad, so I can't sit here and praise Kansas. That's not allowed. My favorite ad is actually Kansas State getting Tyler Perry, who's like my favorite player in college hoops. Played in the slowest system in the country the last 2 years. Now he's going to play a little more up tempo, have a chance at that Marquise Noel role, running pick and roll after pick and roll under Jerome Tang. I think that's going to be an awesome fit. He's going to put up huge numbers. Was already doing it, like I said, in the slowest offense in the country at North Texas. He's going to be fantastic for K-State, and I can't wait to watch him.
I agree. P, add that to your list of people to go watch their highlights. Tyler Perry, but it's not with an E. It's Tyler with an O-R. Just go watch that man's highlights from last year. Dude is the absolute truth. Like, I don't even know.
He has like the weirdest clutch gene where like it's the final minute or two of a game. He makes every game winner. 2 years ago, it was ridiculous. Last year, not quite as much, but it's nuts. Hand in his face doesn't matter. If there's under 30 seconds on the clock, it's going in.
And isn't he also like, what, 5'10"? He's short like Noel was.
Yep.
He's just got that dog in him.
Yep. He won a JUCO national championship sophomore year before he went to North Texas, was the best player on that team. Like, he's just a winner, makes huge shots. As his coach put it to me, he's like, he's got something you can't teach, and I love it.
Yeah. Well,
got that dog in him. Hey, you can't do nothing with it.
Listen,
Yep.
I'm going to be biased here. I love Harrison Ingram to UNC, honestly. I mean,
yeah, this is definitely biased.
Hey, listen. The reason I say that is because, first off, there was a point in time early in the portal season where I was like, dude, is Hubert about to just sit back with Armando, RJ, Seth Trimble, Jalen Washington, and like his recruiting class and not do anything? And then he brings in Ingram, which is like, I know Stanford was cheeks last year. Okay. They were terrible, but Ingram's obviously a 5-star, like really talented. And I do think that now that Caleb Love's not there to be the shot chucker, I do think, especially with Cadeau reclassifying today, which was huge, having guys like him and RJ that actually want to run an offense and not do what Caleb Love did and just
Does RJ really want to run an offense?
I don't know, man. We haven't seen him play without Caleb, okay? Listen, if I was playing with Caleb Love, I'd probably shoot when I touch the rock too, because you're not getting your touches and shots without it. But I don't know. I mean,
it's fair.
At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter, because I think Duke is assembling like the greatest college team I've ever seen in my life. But
of course,
Can I do a warning? Can I do a warning for you, Jacob?
Yes.
For UNC fans? There has not been a reclass point guard who has been good the first year. It's like never happened. I have not watched Cadeau, so I am not making a personal judgment on him. But every single guy that reclasses up a year, it's just like they're out of their depth physically. So I wouldn't get overly pumped about him yet.
Yeah, no, I feel that. So now this is what it's all about. This is what it's all about, Jim. This is where you get to really let it out, man. You get to say you're most hated, and it can be whatever. As I explained to you in text, it could be a team, it could be a player, or it could be like some dude named Joe that pissed you off in the grocery store. So, Jim, as the only haters guest of honor, I have to know. Most hated. What is it?
My most hated right now is people who care about things that don't affect them. And I mean specifically the TV ratings of the NBA finals. That's one thing. Like, why does that matter to you if it's bad or good or not? Are you going to watch it or not? That's like, why, who cares if so many millions of people watched or not? I don't understand that. And it tangentially related, why do you care if your owner's paying a lot for a luxury tax bill? Like, I've had Bucks fans be like, well, if we sign Lopez, do you see how expensive the team's going to be? I don't care. It's a billionaire. Why doesn't he write the check and sign it and enjoy his like $1 billion property that's appreciating every single year? It's going to be a profitable investment over time. Pay for the team, make them good while you have them. Golden State did it. Respect to them. I think every team should do that. Get into the luxury tax. It's a billionaire's money. No fan should care about that. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm never going to understand that. Like, dude, we're talking like some of the richest people on the planet. Like, oh, boo-hoo, they have to pay a tax. Like, whatever. This is simple for me. The number one answer is obvious. It's Caleb Martin. I mean,
At this point, you
dude,
can't hate him, man.
like,
You gotta accept it,
bro.
man.
I have to hate because the dude. I mean, he was single-handedly like stopping the bleeding for the Heat. And like I said, it is annoying. The Celtics shouldn't have been in that situation. But every time they went on a run, Caleb Martin was the one hitting daggers. And I just can't. I just can't take it, man. It's insane. Like the Heat role players are the bane of my existence. I've been dealing with this for 3 Eastern Conference Finals now. Now we actually won the last one, or last year's, and then we lose this one. We lost the one in the bubble, bro. I'm tired of them. The Heat, like they have some role player every year that just is Jesus. So it's like I don't know who I should hate more between Caleb Martin or Eric Spoelstra, to be completely honest. Other most hated, and P, you helped bring it up because I was going to bring it up anyways. Anyone who thinks the Hornets should not take Scoot Henderson. If you
talk to me, big dog.
Great one.
Talk to me, big
dude,
dog.
I just don't like, bro. We're talking like a literal NBA size. One of the freakiest athletes we've ever seen.
Should be playing football.
He's bucking grown men, and on top of that, he went head to head with Wemby and dropped like 35 or something. I mean, dude's ridiculous. I just think it's the worst thing ever. P, what are you hating this week? Because I know, are we going to have a 5th straight week of Warriors fans?
Oh, I was supposed to have Warriors fans my most hated again.
This is a month anniversary, Jim, of him
again. Jim,
what did I do to you?
First of all, Dion Hill Ford. Wait, you know what I'm saying? He's a Warriors enthusiast. Shout out my dog, but Jim, I'm gonna bring you into some slang here, okay? I don't know if you ever heard of the word glazing, but if you ever watch this show, I say it a lot. Glazing is, what do you say, JK?
I would say glazing is basically the slang term of like it's like the non-cursing way to say if you're glazing someone, like you're on your knees for them per se.
Okay.
Pretty much. Yeah, you glazing, The Steph fans, they glazing. All right. They glaze everywhere on Twitter. I'm tired of seeing it. They tweeted out. I seen a tweet, Jim. It inspired me. It said Steph Curry really beat these unbeatable Celtics last year in the finals. Come on, man. 1, it's not the same team. 2, why are we acting like the Celtics was a dynasty before? Like, you know what I'm saying? For like 5 years, and Steph came out of nowhere and beat him like he was the underdog. Cool. I'm tired of that. By the way, you can have more than one most hated. Number 2, Charlotte Hornet fans, JK, they on Twitter saying, I can't believe we cut Caleb. I can't believe we did it, man. I can't believe we got rid of Caleb Martin. He was not the same guy. He was not the same guy, man. Relax.
I'm sorry, bro. Like, I memed about it on Twitter, and I said something about like, oh, they had their second franchise guy the whole time. They just didn't know it was Caleb Martin. But like, dude, if you watch Caleb Martin in Charlotte, like,
it wasn't Martin. Martin wasn't Martin yet. It wasn't. It's nothing crazy. People's like, I can't believe they kept his brother, man. I can't believe it. Like, bro, they drafted his brother, first of all, and then Caleb was undrafted. So, like, they chose their guy anyway. Third, Conor McGregor, weird enough, man. I really, that's my dog, JK. You know that for a long time. That's my dog. McGregor. Bro, you got a fight here soon. You got a fight scheduled. You at the F1 race, coked up, juiced up. I don't know what you're doing, bro. You say you love fighting. You're not showing it, man. I never see what you got going on. If you come back and get smoked, that's the end. You should have retired if you really don't love it like you do. I don't understand what's going on with him. And also, another thing about McGregor was, I seen on Twitter today, ESPN MMA, no free promo, but ESPN MMA tweeted out, if Prom Volkanovski fought Prom McGregor, that would be the greatest MMA fight of all time. Yo, what Volkanovski would do to McGregor, man, is the absolute worst thing I would see in the modern day era. It would be terrible. Terrible. So Conor McGregor fanboys and him himself, it's got to be stopped, bro. It's got to be stopped.
I need to watch that new the new Netflix special, the
McGregor Forever. I'm going to be honest.
I've not watched it yet.
I got to give McGregor credit for that. I'm still a fan. You know what I'm saying? Before everybody get on my head. I know Ireland going to be coming for me. I don't want no smoke with them, trust me. But It was really good. Any man that puts his losses on camera and how he's feeling after a loss, anything like that, I gotta respect you for that. That's pretty cool of him to do something like that. But tighten up, man. You got Michael Chandler here in a couple months. Tighten up.
Yeah.
Please.
Well,
That's it.
listen, what an episode with the one and only Jim Root. I mean, what a guy. If you're not following him, you got to hit him with a follow on Twitter. It's at second 2ND. Okay. That type of second. We're not spelling out the word second here. Chance with a capital C, points with a capital P. I've tagged this man in countless tweets via Field of 68, so I have it memorized in the top of my head.
right.
I just can never
Boom.
forget. Same thing with Three Man Weave. That's
Let me
his
go
guys.
follow them too.
That's
I
his
just did it.
guys at the number 3
Okay, hold
MW
on.
underscore CBB. I mean, they're legends in the college basketball media game, man.
I got that
And
too.
Listen, if you like to bet, when the college basketball season rolls around, those are the guys you want to follow. Because
I like the header for the 3-man week. My boy Jim holding the
cook up.
basketball with the party hat on. I like that. I like
Sure.
that. I just
Hey.
had to follow that too. I'm all followed up, JK. I appreciate
all
that.
right. Hey, listen, I'm telling you, it's a worthy follow. But Jim, really do appreciate your time, man. Busy man coming out here. Any final words before we sign off here?
No, I think I got them all out. I think you got all my off-season content out of me. I'm going to hibernate again for a couple weeks after this.
Hey, listen, you got to hibernate when you can, because once the college season starts, the life of Jim Root becomes an absolute train wreck in terms of doing content.
True.
So, we appreciate you guys for joining in, and you know the vibes. Enjoy your week. Don't enjoy it too much, and don't forget to hate. It's okay to hate, okay?
Right.
It's okay to spread love. It's okay to spread hate. And until next time, we'll see you guys.